Rachel Wana.
I'm Lubika Rawood. For more information on the work that we do and how you can help us to help others, please visit our website www.secondchances.org.za.
In Junior Achievement South Africa, its focus is really to expose youngsters within high school and out of school to entrepreneurial thinking, and ours is focused at high school from grade 10 to 12.
I'm very big on youth empowerment and making a difference and touching lives and impacting the lives of our young people. That's practically what I do with my foundation as well, and ever since I was crowned as Miss SA.
The goal of the magazine is to basically share information that will be able to assist small business owners.
You're listening to The Social Show with Viwet Yolwana
And Lubika Rawood, live on brandlive.co.za.
A good morning to you. It is a beautiful day and it's not raining and I am happy. How are you doing, my co-host?
I'm very well. I'm doing very good. The cold hasn't gotten me. I know a lot of people are got the sniffles and flus and stuff, and we're pretty okay.
We're pretty. Thank
we're
God.
Pretty,
actually.
we're pretty too.
Okay, well, let's get into our news.
Lions are being killed in South Africa for their body parts, and pleas have been directed to the government to stop the illegal lion bone trade. Now, on Thursday, 3 lions were found poisoned and mutilated at Turffontein Farm near Polokwane. Police spokesperson Motlafela Mojapelo said 2 male lions had their heads and paws cut off, and the third, a female, was not cut. Now, the motive for the latest incident is not known, he also later said. Kelly Marwinek, manager of the Endangered Wildlife Trust Carnivore Conservation Program, said they are very concerned about the increase in poaching incidents of lions. These incidents appear to be linked to the trade in their body parts, and they do not have a good understanding of the trade in lion parts and what drives it. However, it is clear that the poaching is increasing as an increasing threat to lions and needs to be urgently addressed. Now, similar killings have been reported on privately owned properties at Marble Hall, Tzaneen and Thabazimbi. In June last year, 2 white lions were killed in their shelter at the Tzaneen Lion and Predator Park in Letaba River Lodge. 3 men were arrested near Palabora with the remains of one of the 2 white lions. And 2 weeks ago, the park's owner, Andre de Lang, reported a grisly scenario that greeted workers when they reported for duty. Now, 3 male lions had been killed at the park. Their legs and heads had been hacked off, and Delanga said he believed it had been an inside job because the poachers had to cut through 3 wire fences and bypass an advanced alarm system to get in.
Yeshiva Boys High School in Cape Town started the 2017 school year stationery by creating a charitable mannequin challenge. Now, the idea was that each of the boys brought items of stationery from home to be collected for an underprivileged school. The challenge is called Stationery for Stationery. Yeshiva College Boys High School posted their video online recently, and it looks like they had a lot of fun for a good cause. In the video, you can see each of the students standing or posed like a mannequin, holding their stationery donation in their hand. After the challenge was filmed, all the stationery was collected to be donated. The boys' high school went one step further and challenged not only the video viewer, but also the Yeshiva Girls High School. And the girls took up the boys' challenge, and a few days later, they posted their mannequin challenge online. The stationery collected by both schools is destined to go to a good cause and help out an underprivileged school. The Girls High has also challenged all viewers to do a stationery for stationery challenge.
Scientists have created the first human-pig hybrids in a breakthrough that could pave the way for doctors to grow an unlimited supply of organs for transplants. Now, in the past, scientists thought they might be able to use the organs of pigs, which are about the same size of those of humans, but they could not prevent the immune system from rejecting the animal tissue. An alternative was to use stem cells, which can become any cell in the body and grow new organs in the lab. But scientists have struggled to coax stem cells into complex 3D structures. Now, a team at the Salk Institute in US has combined both concepts and shown it is possible to grow human tissue in a pig. It took 4 years and 1,500 pig embryos and the stem cells from 40 people. Now, in a statement, they said they understand the effort involved. And said that this was an important first step. Now, the next challenge is to guide the human cells into forming a particular organ in pigs. The ultimate goal is to grow functional and transplantable tissues or organs in the pigs.
In light of Donald Trump's new regulations against refugees and immigrants, the CEO of Starbucks is taking a stand showing that it's not okay to discriminate. The Starbucks CEO is taking a stand against the new regulations against Syrian refugees and the temporary travel bans that apply to 6 other Muslim majority nations in America. Now, the executive order signed by President Donald Trump will restrict immigration to the United States of America. Howard Schultz wrote a letter to all Starbucks employees stating that he planned to hire 10,000 refugees at Starbucks stores worldwide, including in America. Now, this came after many employees voiced their concerns about the human rights being threatened. There are more than 65 million citizens of the world recognized as refugees by the United Nations, and Starbucks is currently developing plans to hire 10,000 of them over 5 years in the 75 countries around the world where Starbucks does business. And they still start this effort here in the United States. Howard Schultz said, by making the initial focus of their hiring efforts on those individuals who have served with United States troops as interpreters and support personnel in the various countries where the military has asked for such support. The Starbucks CEO also vowed to continue support coffee growers in Mexico after trade with the country has been restructured. They plan to provide medical aid to employees that may be affected by the recall of Obamacare. Howard insisted that bridges should be built, not walls. And other companies are also joining Howard Schultz, such as the founder of Airbnb, who is offering free accommodation to refugees and anyone that is denied access to America. The co-founder of Google attended a protest, and the CEO of Facebook, Apple, and Microsoft have voiced their concern and disappointment via Twitter and other platforms. And that's our news wrap up for the day.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
Alrighty, so now if you were listening to our news, I don't know, me and Libika actually were very shocked when we found out the news.
Yeah.
And we thought this should be our point of departure for today's show and just speak about it a little bit more and find out what you guys think about, such a really morally, ethically, socially, politically crazy story. Now, if you heard the news, I did speak about this human pig hybrids that may be providing donor organs for people who are needing organs in real life. So basically what they're going to do is they're going to use pigs to grow the organs. So if it's a liver, if it's a kidney, they use the pig as the host for the whatever organ it is. Now, obviously, genetically modified organisms, foods seem to be on the rise right now. But more than that, they've been, around for years. I mean, people have been altering the genomes of plants and animals for years. And today, scientists can incorporate new genes, from one species to a completely unrelated species without affecting the actual species. So there's been a lot of really cool things that have been done. Mm-hmm. Within genetically modified, spectrum. I mean, from food to, I know corn is really, most of it in the US is genetically modified. Yeah. So there's been a lot of,
they say it's healthier, actually, to eat the genetically modified tomatoes and that kind of thing. Yep.
Well, a lot of people say, go green, so it's such a difficult thing to talk about because it's been happening and now it's really starting to come into fruition for human beings, like to save lives. Libika.
Wow. I don't know how I feel about this though. But I don't know. Is it safe to say that this is just, look, I understand that you'll a lot of people will say, there's people who need a heart transplant or a kidney transplant have been on the waiting list for many years. So this will obviously cater to them and bring light at the end of the tunnel for them. But I want to know, is this perhaps taking it too far? Taking an animal, using this animal for research purposes. I don't know if this is okay.
If anyone can actually have that authority to do that, and it's difficult. I don't even know how to speak about it intelligently because there's so many people opposed from so many points of views, and there's such great things that come from it as well that you really have to know both sides really well before you can make a judgment. And that's what we're going to do now. We're going to give you the pros and cons of this new human pig hybrid that will be providing donor organs for people.
Yep. But I also think, if pigs could actually speak, we don't know, maybe they wouldn't want to be, operated
Tools.
on.
Yeah.
So I think, if you want to do something, then get approval from both parties. People are just using animals because they can't speak and they can't say no if they don't want to be operated on. But anyways, in 2007, there was a poll conducted that found that 61% of the public supported the research after having the process and goals explained to them, while a quarter was opposed to the research.
Yeah.
So 61% is it's more than half of the population of the community. But so there are a lot of people, that are for this. But I still feel like there are strong arguments on both sides, obviously, of the ethics. And personally, I think that a lot of people will, or I've read reports where a lot of people have said, it's unnatural, it blurs the distinction between human beings and other animals, and it's also playing God. I mean, if you look at Muslim people, we do not see the pig as sacred or anything. A lot of Christian people don't even eat pork, so how are you going to try and convince someone who sees the pig as perhaps filthy for religious purposes, convince them to have something in their body that belonged to a pig before?
It's a difficult question to answer, but I think, it all boils down to whether or not you want to live or not, honestly. Because, obviously, these new, these scientists are really coming up with new ways in which, human beings can live longer. And remember, we're not necessarily saying that, this is going to be it's going to be just a free for all. So anything you want to do to pigs, anything you want to do, it's a very limited procedure. It's a procedure that's just for making sure that we can make new livers, make new kidneys, and then after that, you don't necessarily make the cells into human beings. So it never really reaches life.
Okay.
So look, if a religious person is like, I don't eat pork, I don't really believe in pigs, they've got a religious, they have that prerogative. They have the prerogative to say, I'm not going to be helped by a pig, I'm not going to get involved. However, you cannot deny the fact that that is an option. And if you choose not to take it, that is your baby. We can't, you can't really force anybody, which is the great thing also. And to show that cells from two different species can share one body in harmony, researchers have also created a lot of organs using mice and rats.
Okay.
Now, they used a snazzy new genetic engineering tool called the CRISPR or Cas9 to break a few genes in mouse embryos that dashed their ability to develop several organs properly, including the pancreas, the heart, and the eye. Now, next, the researchers injected the embryos with the rat stem cells, then transferred the embryos into a mouse's uterus to develop. So the embryos developed into healthy animals with hybrid mouse-rat organs, and the researchers found that, in fact, that the rat cells even developed into gallbladders in the mice, despite the fact that rats don't even have these organs. And the animals all lived up to, 2 years. So I think it's risky, but it's a start.
As long as it's not damaging the animal, I get that. I just feel like, look, if we have the choice of donating our organs when we die and that kind of thing, so it would just be ethical to, if you want to use something or someone for research purposes, you should actually get the approval. Now, a lot of people are saying, animals, they don't speak, we don't care. But that's where I feel like it's not ethical, because if they could speak, maybe they wouldn't want to be operated on or used for research purposes. If they would, it's fine. But I still feel like give people and give animals a choice. You're just taking a few pigs from some place and doing research, conducting research on them. Yes, it's for good, but it's still unethical in my opinion.
I completely hear where you're coming from, and I think you're right. But if you think about it, how many pigs die every single day from people just wanting their meat? So it's quite a difficult thing to speak about, and of course,
so true.
You can look at it in your perspective, but you can also remember that neither human or animal rights are violated, because most of these embryos and most of these whatever it is that they're trying to genetically modify will never actually become another human or another animal. So there's never a real chance of scientists really breaking the ethical, which I think the ethical barrier would have been them coming up with a new species, and that's not what they're trying to do. They're just trying to move the human race forward scientifically in terms of intelligent information that they can get about human bodies, and also how to prolong life, right? Everyone wants to prolong their lives. No one wants to die because of liver damage or of heart failure. I mean, it's so unfair, and if somebody can change that, I think it's worth it. However, just to back you up a little bit, one of my serious issues is what happens to the pig after the organ is manufactured. And I think they don't really discuss that a lot. They just talk about how they can help, but what happens to the pig? Do they still, is it eaten? Is it alive still to carry on? Is it just a box where you manufacture organs?
True. I agree with you. And I'm not sure if you mentioned something about they started this research in 2006.
Yes,
right?
2006, yeah.
So I still feel like it's not a long enough time to kind of see the side effects of this.
I agree.
Because yes, it's good, and I have no doubt in my mind that a lot of people, if you've been on the waiting list for a transplant since 1995, and scientists come up with this new thing, even if it's a mixture of human and an animal, a lot of people are going to it kind of gives them new hope. So I have no doubt in my mind that a lot of people are going to, I don't know if they're gonna have to pay a lot of money for this, I don't know.
That's the thing.
But I still feel like they haven't really, they've said, okay, this is what we've come up with, and we think this is the next big thing. This will benefit a lot of people. But they haven't really tested it, or I haven't really read reports where they've done this, they've put the heart or the liver or whatever in a human being, and this human being has lived for 5 years or 10 years or whatever the case may be. So we don't know the side effects yet. Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely. And I think that's one of the biggest issues. Then how do we ever get to know what the side effects are without trying? So it's a matter of it's a catch-22 really, because they're coming up with a solution. They're being met with a lot of ethical and religious opposition, and then people are like, you haven't been developing it, like you said, you haven't been developing it enough for us to know what the side effects are. But then development has always been skewed and stopped because people have this. It's the same conversation over and over. So what is it that needs to be done? Do we need volunteers to come in? Then that sounds a little bit like a factory of humans that are being used as tests.
It's like something in the Avengers where they...
Exactly. Yeah. They've actually been accused, these scientists have been accused for being monsters, creating monsters. It's gone to that level. That's why I'm saying it's a catch-22 for a lot of science because they're trying to propel the human, lifespan further, but how are they going to do it effectively if they don't use humans? So I don't know. You guys need to tell us what you think. We are, a bit flabbergasted. We heard about it today, and we just thought, you know what? It's so important that we speak about it because we'd like to know, 61%, like you said, voted for it. However, I'd really like to know who those people were and where did they conduct that research. How big was it? How big was the spectrum? Because, it could have been a group of liberalists, instead of a really, so it could have been skewed. So we'd really like to know what you guys think. Please hit us up on our social mediums.
Yeah, please do that because it's debatable. It's really debatable. But I want to know, they're using pigs for research. They've used mice and rats. So what next? What if they want to use dogs next? I have a little puppy. I don't want my puppy to be killed for research purposes.
That's the thing. What's next? And we were talking about this before we got in here. Big money is going to be made if this works. And who are the people that are, funding it? Who are the people which corporates actually want this to work so that they can make money? And also, which NGOs are behind this? You'd obviously think it would be NGOs within the health, faculty,
sector,
exactly, or animal rights. It's got such potential to blow up in people's faces because there's so many ethical lines that are blurred. So I really would like to see how this all plans out, and I'd really like to know who's funding this research. I think it'd be very interesting to find out who really wants to push for this to work.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes when you need something as important as a new heart or a kidney, and someone brings this to the table, I just hope that it benefits them, and the people who are going to be using these transplants live a long life.
I agree.
Because there's nothing worse than signing off. Obviously, they're going to sign indemnity forms and that kind of thing. Signing off your loved one, and it just doesn't work. Because we know that even a human transplant, 100% human heart or kidney, can also go wrong because the body can reject it. So we'll just read the news, keep up to date, and read the reports.
And we'll let you guys know. And I think it's very interesting, and it's very interesting that's coming out now. Also, just going back to what you were saying, just to close up, it's really also playing on people's desperateness, right?
Yes.
And that I think is also another ethical standpoint. If you're lying in a bed and they're saying you're going to die because your liver stopped working.
And you have kids at home.
And then somebody says, look, we've been doing these donor, genetically modified organs, and we could potentially work on you. That desperateness, that desperate family that really wants their father, their mother to get better will definitely support and vote for it, right? So it's so hectic on that level as well, that if you are working with people who are already suffering, you're working with people who just, like you said, hope can light up fires and can ignite so much in people, and they will do anything in the light of a hope, in faith, that kind of thing. So they're also playing on that, and that's where I think the God element comes in. Are you playing on people's emotions, and how much can you get from them to support? So as we said, hit us up on our social mediums and tell us what you think about this new wave that's coming into, fruition right now of human-pig hybrids that may provide donor organs. And let us know what you think. We are interested to know.
Definitely. So please don't forget to use the hashtags BrandLive and Social Show.
Yes.
And we're on Twitter at Social1TV and Instagram TV_CSI, and on Facebook Social TV. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this really debatable topic.
Really, really, really debatable.
So you'll hear from us tomorrow. Have a good one.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah. Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.beastownmedia.co.za.